Scott is back.
I am back.
Oh, yeah.
Scott is risen.
Scott is risen.
Hey.
Yes, guys.
Scott's
Scott is back. What's up, man?
You got to specify which hurricane, though, because we've had like 49 of them.
We have had like 1,000 hurricanes. The Earth does not like us. They're actually really angry at the humans. But yes, Scott survived Hurricane Harvey, so it's nice to have you back. I'm really glad to hear that everything's been okay. You've been able to retrieve a lot of, well, you lost some things, but you've been able to retrieve a good amount of your stuff, thankfully. So,
yeah. I lost
You lost some
thousands
material
of
things, but you never
worth
lost
of
your heart.
material things.
Mm-hmm. You did not lose your heart. You did not lose your soul.
I did not lose
You
my
just gotta believe.
brain.
You did not lose your fingers, which
I'm alive.
that would suck. If you lost your finger, I think. Okay, what if you lost your fingers? Would you want to die? Because then you couldn't do
To a
anything.
flood.
I could not write code if I lost my fingers.
Yeah,
I
The
could
flood
not
took
hit.
my fingers.
I could not click a mouse if I lost my fingers
I know.
to like click a play button or
I could
record
not
button.
Build a house.
I think I would actually want to die if I didn't have my fingers. I wouldn't be able to play video games. It'd be the saddest thing.
Oh,
be like
that's
a-
not true.
just
Your life is
nubs.
not totally over if you've just lost your fingers.
It is for
there's
me.
There's people with no hands and no feet that still live their lives and do stuff.
Find the will to live, Nathaniel. I think you can get off
God.
get off your butt and do things.
It would be hard, but you would be okay ultimately.
Ugh.
I think.
I mean, I would live, but would it even be worth living if I can't push buttons?
Let's talk about video games because I
Okay.
think
Yeah,
that's
this is a
what people-
video game show.
Oh yeah, this is a video game show.
Oh yeah, let's remember that.
Yeah, so we wanted to talk about this little game called Super Mario 64. I know I haven't really talked about that one too much. I've actually never tried it before, but anyway, there's this online version of Mario 64 now, simply titled Mario 64 Online. It was created by Kaze. What's up, Kaze, if you're watching this?
But it's already been taken down.
It's already been taken down by Nintendo. This is a common thing. This happens a lot with ROM hacks and things in the same nature. But
some people think that it may have never even existed.
Well, wait a second.
It does
wait a
exist. I have
No, wait. So the mod is still online, right? People can still go download the mod as of the time we're releasing this video.
Oh yeah,
We think?
it's somewhere. I mean, it's not directly through Kaze's video anymore.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
once you put a ROM hack online, it's never gonna leave ever because it's the internet.
Sure. Yeah. So his video, though, many of his videos were taken down, right?
Yeah, a lot. They were all manual takedowns too, which is really scary.
Ooh.
So it was Nintendo was mad
that's a
at
slap
him.
in the face.
Oh, and on top of that, they temporarily took down his Patreon, which is really stupid because that's basically how he's able to make so many of these ROM hacks. And it's really disappointing because, in a weird kind of way, Kaze has kind of been supporting the YouTube Nintendo community, giving us content to stream and make videos on. Like, there was Fidget Spinner 64, Mario Odyssey 64. Now there's Mario 64 Online. There was Last Impact.
He made all those?
64.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
He makes all that
this guy's
stuff.
made a lot, and he made. Wasn't he behind Last Impact? And
He made Last Impact completely except for the music.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, that's impressive. I thought this was just his first going. That's cool.
He did make Pink Gold Peach 64, which I do not like. I don't know why he made that freaking thing. It's the only thing I don't like about him.
But you played it though. People can go watch a video of you playing Pink Gold Peach 64.
He made it in 3 hours. For anyone that's wondering, it's
amazing.
He's really fast.
Oh my god.
But it's interesting because I think that Kaze is completely in the fair use when it comes to all of these ROM hacks, especially Mario 64 Online, because sure, he's using characters and the music and stuff that are Nintendo's IP, but he's making something completely new out of it. Like, you can't normally play a game that's only single player online.
Well, yeah, and I guess what's also important to note is that, like, when it comes to stuff like Last Impact, those are total replacement mods. So he's taking Super Mario 64 and making a brand new game out of it. So like one of the only distinctions about it is that it's 64-bit graphics and it's made on that really old engine from the 90s, but it's a brand new game basically, and it's like 100% like what you would expect out of Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this always just falls back on the same argument that we've always had about, like, should Nintendo do this? Yeah, I guess it's legal for them to do this, but should they do this? You know, that kind of thing.
I don't really see. I completely understand why Nintendo does this. We've talked about emulation before on the podcast, but it's like this is original work. I mean, it's not like he's taking the ROM and then just like offering that to anybody, and it's not like he's making money from the ROMs themselves. You know, he offers them up for free.
I think that's what it's about though for Nintendo, is that once he created a Patreon and people were funneling money into that, it basically becomes, probably in Nintendo's eyes, a way of saying like, well, this dude is basically going to get a crowd-funded salary to make what is, you know, in their view, Nintendo content.
Yeah, that's
Right,
that's
right.
almost the problem with it though. Is like Nintendo sees that and they're like, okay, we don't want this guy getting paid for potentially tarnishing our brand. Now, I'm not saying he is. It's just like in their mind, he might do something
Right.
that they don't agree with, and then they have to take it down, which sucks because I like ROM hacks and I like seeing what people can create and I like seeing what people can do. And it's the same thing with AM2R. The same thing. Like I would have loved to have just seen that come out. Like I'm happy Samus Returns is such a hit, and I'm glad people like it a lot. But I would be fine with just seeing a potentially Super Metroid like version of Metroid 2. I was fine with that.
Yeah.
So you know.
You know what I think another part of this is too, though, is that like it's not just about the idea that it would potentially tarnish their brand. I think the way that they see it is that other people are going to begin steering it's a combination of things, right? So it's like it's steering the message of what Nintendo's brand is. So yeah, sure, that's potentially tarnishing it, but more importantly, it's kind of like, well, like that means that like fans, or really not even necessarily fans, but we're talking about like super fans who are really technically competent and talented, and they are going to potentially, you know, introduce things that Nintendo has no control over as far as like where their brands are going to go, where their franchises are going to go, possibly even dictating what resources Nintendo is going to be expected to have to, you know, put down in the future. So, you know, in the case of like Mario Online 64 or Mario 64 Online, I mean, you know, like that's, if that's super successful, which the video before it got struck down, that was, I guess basically like the trailer for that got over 1 million views.
In
So
3
Nintendo
days.
is,
It was on
Nintendo's going to
trending.
be, yeah, so Nintendo's going to be drug in this direction if that becomes super popular. But and the other thing is that, you know, if people are creating Patreons or creating ways of crowdfunding these projects, it also means that that's other people driving the monetary value of Nintendo's brands, you know, from their perspective, and so I think that's what it's about for them. I think that they realize that these are really popular, well-liked projects, and that they're also very well done. You know, I think that there's probably designers and developers at Nintendo who are impressed even with these projects because they are very, very good. But I think for them, it's about other people steering Nintendo who are not Nintendo.
And I do agree with you on that statement, but I think it's also I have to bring this thing up about IGN. Some people
Oh,
know about
yeah.
this. It's not very well known, but basically what IGN did is they completely took his whole trailer, literally did nothing. It was a 2-minute trailer, and on IGN it's the exact same length. There's no edits or anything. IGN uploaded his trailer, and it's still fine. It's still online, and like why is that acceptable? Like that
Right.
doesn't make any sense. They took down the original trailer from K's, but not IGN's version, which is the
Well,
exact same
no,
thing.
yeah. Now, IGN's version is the video, so IGN just stole Kaze's trailer,
Yeah,
which granted is, you know, using some degree of Nintendo characters and all that stuff. But IGN gets to have the trailer up, but the guy who created the mod gets struck down. It makes no
that
sense.
makes zero sense. So if they're gonna take down K's video, take down all the videos. You can't just
Right.
be picky.
Yeah.
But they like
that
IGN,
was
so they let
ridiculous.
IGN keep the trailer.
Yeah, I know they like
and that's up to
IGN.
like 44,000 views or something at the time we're recording this.
Yeah, that absolutely blows my mind that they're. I mean, I guess it really doesn't blow my mind because they are very close with Nintendo, but it wouldn't even. I wouldn't even mind if they used some of the footage. Maybe had someone narrating, "Hey, this is what this ROM hack is about. It's pretty cool, whatever." But nope, just ripped it.
Yeah. I mean, they link to the original video in the description, but that's really like not.
That's the slap in the face.
It's not like
honestly.
I mean, they still ripped the whole video.
Yeah,
so.
They ripped it and took the biscuit.
They did take the biscuit.
They're taking the biscuit right now. I'm pretty sure there's ad revenue on that video too for IGN.
I'm sure there is.
But Nintendo allows it because
that is just so
because
wrong.
IGN's considered mainstream gaming media, so Nintendo just allows it. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
I wonder if Nintendo even
just such a
knows that they
shame.
uploaded it. Maybe they don't know.
I mean, they must. Nintendo probably watches everything IGN does with a very close eye. And you got to remember that
like I'm sure Reggie's
Jose
just posted
Otero,
up in his office just with a glass of red wine going, oh, I love this ROM hack. Oh, pristine job. Good job, IGN.
And then after he sips his red wine, his voice gets really deep and he's suddenly like, take it down.
It's all mine.
But yeah,
sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say that Jose Otero, who used to do the Nintendo Voice Chat podcast, and he was actually one of IGN's like lead Nintendo coverage people reporting on Nintendo. He ended up getting a job with Nintendo, so no doubt, like he's working with Nintendo of America now. Nintendo is absolutely like watching everything that IGN does, working very closely with IGN, has a very strong relationship there. And so they absolutely must know that Kaze's trailer is on IGN's channel, and they don't care. And it's that makes no sense to me.
Yeah, like if they don't mind, then you'd think that they would want a trailer like that to get more coverage. And Kaze, like if that video was still up, Kaze's video would probably have like maybe 1.5 million to 2 million views by now at the rate it was growing at.
Yeah, well, but again, like I think that's why they took it down. It's because when it gets that popular, it's probably seen as something that's sort of a threat in their eyes.
Yeah, or you know what might be happening? It could be a Metroid situation where they are actually already planning a Mario 64 online game for the Switch.
Yeah, it could be, or maybe there's some feature in Odyssey that's multiplayer that we don't know about.
That's
maybe.
what
Well,
I'm
there is
thinking,
Odyssey. There is Odyssey multiplayer, but the second player just controls Cappy, so it's nothing like Mario 64 online.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, there's so many other fan projects that have been taken down that we never got anything that could be seen, as like directly related. Like in the case of AM2R, we could say, well, look, they like actually they really did remake Metroid 2, and then they put it out. But like in so many other cases, they've struck down so many other projects. Like I think there was Pokemon
Uranium.
There was some Pokemon Uranium that was super huge, and they shut that down, and we never got anything that was like directly like, oh well, because we took down Uranium, you actually get this other thing that we were working on. So it's not like that in every case.
I'm stunned that Mother 4 is Mother 4 still a thing? Because I heard about it like last I heard about it was like 2 years ago, and it was supposed to be finished. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's projects that have been out there for years and that continue to still be out there that maybe they will get struck down one day, maybe they won't. But like that's part of the trouble with all this. That's part of why so many fans are so upset, is because there's so much inconsistency to all this. And maybe it's just because Nintendo like doesn't have the resources to go around and strike down everything.
Possibly, yeah.
But then, like, when certain projects get extremely popular, and there's some of the favorite fan projects, those are the ones that get knocked out. And so that's what's upsetting to a lot of people.
Yeah, I've always thought of Nintendo being very similar to Disney in that regard. Like, they're very, very protective of their IP. I mean, I guess with good reason, because, I mean, they're very iconic. Like, good iconic. I mean, it sucks. I'd love to play this game, and I'm sure I can go find a... Like, does it still work? Do the servers still work?
Oh, Case is still updating it. He's going to add more characters.
Really? Oh, that's cool. Like, who all is playable right now?
Mario, Luigi, Peach, Rosalina, Toad, Wario, Waluigi, and Yoshi. And he is adding Pink Gold Peach. He's adding Green Bronze Luigi. He's adding
Green Bronze
Luigi. Is that a thing?
Yes.
Seriously?
I told them to add them just for the memes, so they're going to do it.
Oh my
I don't know
God,
who else though.
So I actually wanted to like really kind of have a little bit of a conversation with Nathaniel about this though, because I would argue that like Nathaniel's channels is one of the ones that has really kind of like made people more aware of like these ROM hacks and stuff like that. And like Nathaniel, you've done a lot of streaming and all this, and I think in a lot of ways, like even though this story it ended up on Polygon and Kotaku and IGN and a number of other places, I feel like you're especially close to this particular thing. So I was kind of like wanting to know like how you see it from how close you are to these ROM hacks and decays and all that, and like is this something that you're actually angry about in any sense, I guess is what I'm wondering.
I'm honestly really not that upset about it. I mean, I completely understand why Nintendo takes this stuff down, and it's like we've talked about. They don't take down everything, but I completely understand their perspective. But at the same time, I think me and a lot of other Nintendo tubers have really benefited from all these ROM hacks being released because there's a lot of, dry moments. Like September, there's really been no new games for me that's really come out from Nintendo outside of like Pokken. So whenever there's like dry months for my channel and for other channels, then, ROM hacks, that's great content. It's really cool and interesting, and there's a lot of it. So for me personally, I don't know where I was going with that, but
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I get it.
Such is the nature of the Digicast.
yes.
Such is the nature of the Digicast. Yeah, from this Polygon article, the headline of this is Super Mario 64 Online taken down by Nintendo copyright strikes, and it shows that they've got an update. Nintendo, apparently a representative finally responded with this statement.
Oh.
Nintendo's broad library of characters, products, and brands are enjoyed by people around the world, and we appreciate the passion of our fans. But just as Nintendo respects the intellectual property rights of others, we must also protect our own characters, trademarks, and other content. Which, by the way, this is like 100% like a canned response. Like we've heard this 1,000 times. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't really address what a lot of the community is upset about. And, again, like I think part of what like many people are saying, including to some extent with what you're saying, Nathaniel, is this helps the community because it provides something else to stimulate Mario. It provides something else for people to engage in, and people like it.
Yeah,
there are so many channels. Yeah, there are so many channels. I mean, I don't just cover ROM hacks. There are a lot of gaming channels that literally just talk about Nintendo ROM hacks, and they can make a whole channel about it. Like that's how awesome they are. And I mean, obviously, it's different from what Nintendo actually produces, but from what I can tell, for the most part, it has not harmed their brand at all.
But I think that's like the key piece that Nintendo never addresses. Like they need to address that with their fans.
I think it's because you know what it is? They can't control us. That's the thing. I think they worry about this kind of work because they can't control and regulate the ROM hacks that are coming out, because there have been some pretty racist ROM hacks to come out. Like there was Super Trump 64. I mean, it was more of a joke, but honestly, it was a little racist. If you ever played that ROM hack.
Because the basis of the hack is you're a Mexican trying to get over
the wall,
the wall, right?
Yeah, and the Goombas were like Mexican workers. It was so racist.
Oh my god!
And then the final boss is Trump. It's Trump's face on a big thwomp. like from Case's perspective, it was completely just a joke. But that's not how Nintendo's going to see it. They probably did not like it.
But that's not that again, like that's the inconsistency, because he didn't get a takedown notice over Trump 64.
I don't think so, no.
He gets a takedown notice over Mario 64 Online, which is something more resembling their official content.
Wait, I got it. I got it. There's no parental controls. The online just needed parental controls.
Yeah,
it needed Miiverse.
But I think that like I guess like where I'm going with like this kind of like line of questions though is that Nintendo needs to create a medium for this. They need to create a system. They need to start being more open to modders, and they need to say like, if you want to do mods, we'll let you do mods. Submit them, and if they if they are not going to produce problems, if we can approve them, we will let you make them, and then you'll have all this community engagement that's like officially supported, because a lot of developers do that with their games. I mean, that's modding has been such an officially supported thing, especially in the PC gaming community for years with lots of different games. And like the whole way that I got into being a developer, I would argue, was like making mods back in the day for Free Space 2 and Age of Empires and stuff. But all the same, like Nintendo could totally open the doors for this, and then they would get all this free fan-made content. They wouldn't even need to make like, a Mario Maker to do that either.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. Yep.
I wonder if they're afraid of people like not purchasing games anymore then. Like, as dumb as that sounds, I just wonder if maybe that possibly comes or is coming into their mind. Well, no, I guess with mods, you would have to buy
that's
the
what
game
I'm saying. I'm saying if they create an official channel for it and say, if you buy this game, we'll let you download these fan-made mods, and if you want to submit mods, just let us approve them.
You have to purchase the game first. I can see a system like that actually working out really well.
It absolutely would. But like, this is the disconnect, right? This is one of the disconnect. Like, we've seen Nintendo listening so much more to their fans in 2017 with so much stuff around the Switch and Metroid and 3DS and all that stuff. But like, this is still one of those areas where like they're lagging behind the times and they're not listening.
They need to listen with Star Fox.
They did. It didn't work.
I mean, we got Star Fox 2 finally, and an actual.
They have been listening.
Product.
We got Star Fox 2. We got Star Fox Zero.
And they announced that they're going to continue making NES Classic and SNES Classic. They announced that they're going to continue manufacturing more units, which is what everyone wanted. So, I mean, at least they're giving something there.
They are definitely listening to us in some ways, but just not perfectly.
Whenever
things could be better.
Walk into a Walmart and I see an NES Classic and a Super Nintendo Classic sitting there in harmony and I can purchase them, then I will understand that they listen to me. But until that day, I do not believe it exists, and I will not say that they are listening.
It's still a myth to Jacob.
Okay,
it's still
Jacob.
A myth. It's still like the legendary unicorn that we always like to imagine, but we never actually see.
I have the magical unicorn laying in bed with me right now.
You guys sounded like you were going to go somewhere with that, but it didn't happen.
Well, I don't know. I was going to say, like, I don't even know what you're referring to there, but I don't know if I want to know.
You don't want to know. I don't even know. I don't even want to know. This might be a good place to maybe stop.
Okay.
Because things are getting a little weird. Things are getting a little weird, okay? All right, guys. So if you enjoyed this codcast, if you enjoyed the codcast, make sure to go check out Indie Jacob. Links in the description. He makes all the Nintendo videos. Go follow him on Twitter. Go follow Scott on Twitter too. And make sure to like and subscribe this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment about something really cool. And end card. Now, we're at the end card.
I hope you enjoyed this little slice of content that we put out for you.
This content.
Where were you going?
Type unicorns in the comments below. Bye.